Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to FabScraps card making project number 29. Today is our last project using the FabScraps Wild and Free Collection. And it's a gorgeous card. It's nice and easy, I think, and yet it's still got a lot of detail and a lot of interest on it. And you could adapt it to use on other cards that you're making, that you're using with other collections. Everything I do use I should put in a detailed list on my blog, so please be sure to check it out. Now if you follow me on Facebook, which is highly recommended, you will be able to find out when new collections and new videos are going to be available, creating gorgeous things with the FabScraps new collections. I'm unsure of the timeline of when they are going to be available, so it's just a case of keep your eyes peeled. Keep checking my Facebook page, and when I know, I'll be able to announce it. So, without further ado, please sit back, relax, and let's have a look at our last card using the Wild and Free collection. So for today's FabScraps tutorial, we're going to be starting off with our base card. Now we're using everything from the Wild and Free collection, and this is, I think I've just mentioned this is my last tutorial with the Wild and Free collection, and now we have to wait for new collections to come. So the card base is a 7x5 inch card, and I've chosen an ivory coloured card. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure I've got a nice sharp crease along the top. I've used my handmade by stamp, and for anybody that follows my Anna Griffin tutorials, this is one of the Anna Griffin handmade by stamps. I've just added my name and my tutorial number just to keep me in line. So when you give your card to somebody and you've used a handmade by stamp and added your name, they know who's made it for them. So I think that's nice. So we're going to do the inside first, as always, because I know you like the insert ideas. Now our insert today hasn't got a sentiment with it. It is simply an insert. So you would be able to add any sentiment that you like. Everything I've used for the inside is in the Wild and Free collection. And it's just, I think, a gorgeous easy way. So I've taken one of the papers. Now let's not forget, and I'm calling them papers, but they're actually cardstock. It's only me, slip of the tongue, the way I talk. So I've taken one of the sheets of cardstock. They're all double-sided, and this was the side that had the mini booklet on. But I want the dark green colour for my insert. And I've got to mention, because it's just come into my mind, I never thought about it when I was prepping it. This was the colour of my school uniform, and I've never worn bottle green since. Anyway, but I wanted it for the insert. Yeah, for any of my friends that I went to school with. Anyway, that is another story completely. Not one for a tutorial. So I've cut it to about 1/4 of an inch shorter, smaller, than the actual card size itself. So that's our first layer. I've not been frugal with this. I've left it as a full layer. Our next layer, again, is from one of the papers in the collection, the double-sided papers, and I wanted the stripe because I just think it works. And it's going to look great for the insert of this card. I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I'm simply positioning this through the centre of our card like that, and then I can press it down. Now this is one of the embellishments that's in the Wild and Free collection, and I've got to say I think it's great, I really do. Now this is why I haven't added a sentiment for the inside, because I think that would work so well where you're writing your message. It doesn't need a sentiment because it just looks as though it's been clipped in. I've got flat tape on the back. I've cut it out with scissors. You could rip and tear it to give it even more of an effect. You could rip and tear it and then ink the edges, but I've just gone round it with scissors. You can see again on the lighter background where I've just followed the lines round to cut it out. Now I'm going to add it straight in my insert, but you could add it crooked at an angle, it would work perfectly. But I'm going to go straight. There we go. So we're just getting the stripes at the edges. And that is my insert complete. How quick and easy was that? So now we can create the outside. And believe me, that's kind of as quick and easy as the inside. So I'm using my bone folder to make sure I've still got that nice sharp crease along the top. Now my first layer for the outside is the dark green, bottle green, base layer like we used for the inside. So I've got flat tape on the back of it, and I can peel that away, and we can add this. Now I've cut it again about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the actual card itself, and we can pop that in to the card, or should I say on top of the card, like that, and press it down. My next layer, now this isn't in the collection, I've taken a piece of, and this is paper, from my own stash, and it's just a pink paper. It's going to work really well with the embellishment that we're going to use. I've got it on 3D foam, and I'm just going to place it through the centre of our card, like that. It could be anything in your stash that you use. So our next layer is again the stripy cardstock that's included in the Wild and Free collection. I've got flat tape on the back, and I'm simply going to add that over the top of our previous layer, like so. There we go. Now next, I've die cut using the Tim Holtz rosette die 2 rosettes, both from the kind of like palm leaves. There's probably a really great name for what they are. I'm not up on my floral names. It's in the collection. You'll have seen the paper when we did the preview of the actual fab box. I've die cut them using the rosette die and made them into rosettes. I've got flat tape on the back, and all I'm going to do is place them on my card. Now it's stuck already, which is fine, but I was going to position them a little bit more. Maybe should have added a little bit of wet glue so that I had a little bit of working time with them, but it's fine. So I'll position the second one roughly opposite the first one. I might as well press them down because they're not going to move now. And then I've die cut a heart from the Wild and Free collection, and this is just, it could be any shape heart, any size should I say, and I've used Tonic Nouveau drops just around the edge to give it a little bit of something, just something a bit different. Now I've got flat tape on the edges because the edges are going to catch the rosettes, but through the centre I've got a couple of layers of foam pads. Now they match the height of the rosettes, so as I put the heart on, and that's why I wanted the wiggle room for my rosettes, and I'm going to move them slightly because our heart needs to fit on there. There we go, that's better. So our heart is going to sit over the top of the rosettes, like that. But because we've got the layers of the 3D foam through the centre and not at the edges just touch the rosettes, but it's the right height for the actual card itself, if that makes sense. Next, I've taken one of the embellishments from the Wild and Free collection and I've cut it out. Now you can either cut it out with your normal scissors or your snip scissors. I call mine Mr. Snips, and the tiny little decoupage scissors, which means that you can get quite close to the edges. If cutting very close to the edge isn't your thing, maybe you've got bad eyesight, maybe it's just too fiddly for you, maybe it's too time consuming, go around and leave some edge. It doesn't matter. It's your creation. Nobody will ever hand your card back and say, oh no, you can't cut out to save your life. So they won't do that. They will, you know, they will be grateful and so pleased you've actually made something for them. So don't worry too much about you cutting out. I do both. I go in close and then I leave bits. So, you know, that's just me. That's my thing. And I know a lot of ladies that are on the design team, they're brilliant. They all go really close. Well, no, that's not for me. But I try. And that's what it's all about. So I've got this embellishment I've cut out. I've got it on 3D foam, excess amount of 3D foam. And I'm going to position it just through the centre of our heart. Like that. There we go. I'm going to press it down. And then to finish the card off, I've taken one of the chipboard embellishment words and I've actually used a lilac ink and then clear embossing powder on the top. I've got a mixture of tape and foam on the back, and I'm just going to position this at the bottom of our embellishment. So that's going to just sit towards the bottom of the heart. And that is our card finished. And it's just a beautiful card using a gorgeous collection. FabScraps has the most amazing collections of cardstock designs and patterns, everything working well together. And this collection is based from Africa and based on the big five in Africa and things that you would find there. And I think when I'm saying this card, this collection, my card shows that maybe that's not your thing. Maybe you're using that for safari scrapbooking pages and you've got some of the cardstock left over. Just something a little bit different and something, an idea that you could maybe take away with you to use on different cardstock, different brands, etc. So it stands up nicely. It will definitely go on a mantelpiece. It looks really pretty and the colours tone in so well. Inside nice and simple, but lots of room for a good message. I like that. I really do. Bit of height there, but it should go in a normal envelope still. And it's just such a beautiful card. Please check my blog for extra photos and close-ups so you can see the beauty of the actual design. And don't forget now, we're going to sit back and wait for our new collections from FabScraps. And I don't know how long it'll be, so please keep checking Facebook and I will announce it and FabScraps will announce it when they're available. So it doesn't mean to say I get a couple of weeks off. Oh no, no, no. I might have a special for you. So keep your eyes peeled. That's all I'm going to say. So I would just like to say thank you so much for watching. I shall see you next time.